Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl, Grace Story, and I am back with a whole new podcast episode. Today we are talking about family drama because family drama is my favorite type of drama. And of course, all of these Reddit stories are from Best of Redditor updates because conclusions are important here. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. But of course, if you still want to read the comments and everything after I've dived into it, I will link all of the stories down below. Like I said, family drama is my favorite type of drama, second to wedding drama, because I feel like wedding drama just like I just feel like wedding drama is family drama, but it's like super heightened because of the situation. Before I jump in, if you like Reddit stories, especially ones with conclusions or just story times in general, definitely follow, subscribe, all the fun things. If you also wouldn't mind liking, rating, leaving a comment, anything, it's all free. Takes about 0.2 seconds and helps me reach my biggest, wildest dreams, and it means the absolute world. I was just told that I finally am worthy enough that YouTube has graced me with the hype button. So if you're watching on YouTube and you can see that hype button, if you don't mind clicking it, it would mean the world to me. And again, is like totally free, takes less than a second, and would be super duper cool. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into today's podcast episode. I'm Grace Story, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. This first one is titled, Am I the A-hole for giving my mother and my stepdad 60 days to move out of my childhood home that my father left for me in his will? It was originally posted on March 14th, 2026, and it is technically ongoing, so there is an update, but there's some sort of conclusion that has not happened yet. So like I said, it'll be linked down below. Hopefully there is enough of a conclusion that we're Gucci here and you guys still feel like you have some closure. As the title states, my dad left the house in my name on his will. He passed away 8 years ago, but my parents have been divorced for over 20 years. I was renting out the house as I had already purchased a home before his passing. Up until 3 years ago, I had people renting the house until they moved out and my mother was living in her in-laws' home with my stepdad. They asked me if I would let them stay in the home and they would pay the property tax, bills, and make sure the property is maintained. I agreed and they have been living there ever since. So do the bills include like mortgage or are the bills like utilities? Because I need more context because some people like, I don't know, some people are like mortgage and then utility bills are two separate things, but they'll shorten it and be like, yeah, mortgage and bills. So I'm gonna need to know an exact breakdown of what that includes. I'm just really weird about people inviting other people to come stay in their home or use their stuff or give them money because no matter who people are, blood is not thicker than water. And it just always goes south and ruins relationships. Like the best way to preserve a relationship is to have hard boundaries on those types of things. So let's keep reading. I agreed, and they have been living there ever since. My stepdad is a handyman of sorts, so I had no problem with him fixing the typical stuff that comes along with living in a home. I did clarify to them that I was to be told of any major issues, so I may address and fix them in the proper fashion. I also must mention I live in California, and the home my father left me is in Texas. I do visit every now and then, and my mother assured me that other than the regular upkeep, nothing else has been required. Okay, so that's quite a drive. I have not spent a lot of time on that side of the US, but I feel like that's not like a quick drive. Recently, there was a bout of windy days and a tree fell through the roof above the living room and my mother called me to have someone come look at it. I have a friend that does roofing and sent him to check the damage out to send an estimate to the insurance. After his inspection, he sent me pictures of the attic as well as the pier and beam foundation and said the house has been previously worked on, quote unquote, by someone that didn't know what they were doing. I called my mother and she informed me that my stepdad, quote unquote, fixed things and I shouldn't worry. Wait, so did he fix the roof or fixed other things? Both are concerning, the roof being equally more concerning. This week I visited along with a home inspector and he pointed out the house is, quote unquote, beyond repair. Not just what my friend had showed me, but as well as the plumbing, electrical work, and HVAC. I once again asked my mother what was all done to the house, and she said that my stepfather knew what he was doing and the home is livable. Girly, you now have two people in the profession saying it's not great, like someone who works on a roof for a living and a home inspector. I'm concerned. I am concerned. Of course, I am beyond upset at myself. The amount of money to make the house ideally livable is beyond anyone's budget at the foreseeable moment. I told my mother she must vacate the house in 60 days as I'm just going to sell the property, which basically requires the house to be torn down. I informed her that I'm willing to help pay for her and my stepdad to find a suitable home to live in, but They must now pay the rent, and I'm covering the move-in fees, mover service, and necessities to get them on their feet from the selling of the property, which is around $300K. What? You're way nicer than I am. Like, not suing them is nice in my words, in my thoughts. Just the lack of respect, like, the lack of respect for your house, the ego on this man to, like, not ask for help if he clearly doesn't know. Insane. Now my family is upset with me, including my sisters and other relatives, claiming I'm just uprooting my mother from her life at a time where she isn't able to, quote unquote, start over. No, she did that herself. She put her faith in the wrong person. Like, she didn't do anything malicious, but clearly he doesn't know what he's doing, and she just blindly, like, believed him, which, yeah, now it's not, the house is not livable. It sounds like, I don't know what types of issues there are, but if it's electrical, that means a fire could start. If it's HVAC, that means there could be issues with, like, mold, or same with plumbing, mold or cracks or things like that, where it's like, things are only going to get worse and it isn't safe. Like, aside from the fact that it's expensive and a pain in the butt, it's just not safe. Unlivable means unlivable. I'm at a loss of what I am to do. Even explaining to them that it is also a safety issue for them to live there comes back to me kicking them out. You're literally offering to help them. Okay? You should have sent them out on their butt and said, until you pay me for the cost of the house, we're done here. I know that's your mother, so I get it. I get it. But also, the utter lack of respect here is insane, whether it was intentional or not. If they, like, truly respected you, the stepdad would have, like, been like, okay. If they truly, like, cared about you, or, like, they cared about the house. We just bought a house. Hi, you're in our house. I'm gonna say that for the next 10 years. We bought it in October. But we are looking at doing certain things. Like, we're working on replacing the flooring. We're working on building a fence. We need to probably replace our electric. We need to do some insulation. There's all kinds of things we need to do. And of course, I'm looking up a good DIY. Of course, I'm looking up a good DIY. Like, you know me. I'm going to DIY what I can. But you also have to consider, like, the longevity of things. And there are times where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't DIY this and we should go the extra cost, because it's safety. It makes the value of the house go up, and it just, like, works better. So I understand wanting to save a couple bucks and, like, maybe duct tape something versus, like, getting the new plumbing part or whatever. But, like, in the long run, that's not helping you. It's a temporary fix, and it's hard to keep track of that many little things. Like, you just need to do it the right way. Just because there's a easy, quick solution doesn't mean it's the one you should go with, because that's not necessarily the best solution. Wow, I'm learning things. Buying a house has taught me that. I did not know that. Wow, adulting. Yay. Okay. Relevant top comments. Commenter 1. $300K for relocation is beyond fair. Yeah, that's more than we were given. The house is condemned. There is no home left to kick them out of. Just memories and drywall. OOP said, I should also add they are not receiving the $300K. I'm willing to put a decent down payment on a house for them. The home is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's just them two living there. Yeah, it's a big house. OP on having the proper authorities take a look at the house not being livable after the stepdad has tried to fix things up around the house. The possibility of having to tear down the house if it's condemned. This was their response. This is one of the possibilities I have for the property. The land itself is on 3.5 acres. I'm not sure whether to invest on 2 townhomes on the property or just outright sell it. Either way, after posting, someone reached out and I'm going to have the house condemned. Good. Like, if they're not willing to listen, then bring in the big guns and, like, have the bad guy be someone else. Like, hey, if you want to stay there, let's see how this goes, and they're the final say. The end. And then they also responded on why they got the house from their dad instead of their siblings, and it says, I can only assume I was the most responsible out of us 3. Also, I cared for him while he was incapacitated. It's usually how it goes, and that's very sweet of you. And here is some information on his mother and stepfather's background. Yes, there's info I unintentionally left out. I am 36, male. My mother is 52. She had me when she was 16, and my stepfather's 56. Okay, so he's 4 years older than her. My mother is a work-from-home health intake. My stepfather has a small brick and stone laying business. I myself am very well off financially, much more than my sisters. I left home when I was 16 to live with friends and put myself through college. I also have a family of my own. I left home when my parents divorced, so I've been trying for years to fill in the relationship with my siblings and my mother ever since. This kind of hit me really hard. My mother is not the smartest person in the room, and her and my stepdad do not make good decisions, but they do have some money. I just want to have a clear conscience after this part of my life that I did the best I could out of this situation. That makes me question, like, if you knew that they are not the best at making decisions, why would you let them move into the house? I don't want to blame you because this sucks. And I know that having to tell your mom no is hard, but having to kick her out is even harder and it would have, like, prevented this from happening. So that's where I'm confused. Why are we just letting them move in? I don't know. So someone asked what damage was done to the house to make it unlivable, and the OOP said it doesn't take much for a 60-year-old home. Plumbing was rerouted so that all of the sinks, toilets, and everything else share the same outlet, aka the house smells like sewage when there's backup. Pier and beams are Pyre? Is it pyre? I'm so sorry. Is this going to be exactly like the freaking soldering thing where you guys were like, hey, dummy, that's not how you say it. Is it pyre or pier? I don't know. I don't do construction. I don't do contracting. I'm quite literally just a girl on the internet. Pier and beams are leveled with shims and cinder blocks. AC has one return for the whole system. The wiring is a mess. The list is long. Yeah, it doesn't take much. That's quite enough, especially the plumbing thing. Imagine being like, yeah, I'm a simple handyman. I can reroute the entire plumbing in the house. I am concerned. I'm concerned for you. Commenter 2 said the house isn't livable. Why is this even a conversation? You're not uprooting them. An uprooted tree saw to that. And then commenter 3 said, why are you giving them money for destroying your property? That's what I'm saying. So March 18th, 2026, 4 days later, this is the update. The house has been condemned. I went through the city code department and had them deem the house uninhabitable. My mother and my stepfather are staying with my oldest sister until they find a place of their own. Their belongings are still at the house as they only took necessities. They declined me hiring movers, not that anyone would want to work in the house. Little by little, they will take what is most important to them. I had also told them I will only help get them into a rented house or some sort of living arrangement. I will not move them in with me in California as I don't have space for them. It's now up to my sisters to see what they can do for them because I've made it clear I did my part. If you're putting down payment down for them or you're putting down money for them to get a house, because you said you would put down a sizable down payment, does that mean you would be on the house? That doesn't always mean that, but I'm asking, would you be on the house? Because I hope that you wouldn't and end up in this situation all over again. But I don't know. I also hoped that you wouldn't help them, but you're a lot nicer than I am. So I'm concerned. Don't, you could be nice and helpful, but don't put your name on their property of any sort. Don't co-sign on renting, none of that. You can help financially, but you don't want your name on any of that. Looking back at the responses from the initial post, I will clarify some things. The house was ruined by my stepdad. People said 3 years is not enough to ruin a house. Just imagine starting a project on one part of the house and causing another issue. With even a few months, you have multiple problems simultaneously piling up. Also, they hired their friends to do work for them that I was not aware of. Oh, why am I giving them money? She's my mother. No matter how stubborn she is, I will always care for her. I make enough income that I can give them, as well as myself, some peace of mind. I'm not giving them the full 300K, 345K, and some change in reality. I'm just giving them enough so they hopefully won't struggle. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with you doing that. I'm just shocked that there are people that nice out there. Like, you really are out here turning the other cheek. Good for you. I don't know if I could be strong enough or a lot of people could be strong enough to do that. Like, I thought not suing them was nice, or like not pressing charges was nice. But all right. Fair enough. Good for you, honestly. Like, you're way nicer than most of us are. My father left me the most out of my siblings because I assume he thought I was the most responsible. I feel that I failed him in a way by not being more present in what he had left for me. I spoke with the majority of my family and shared all the information from the city to show that even if I didn't ask my mother and stepdad to leave, the city would eventually make them. Everyone understood, except, of course, my sisters. This brought out a major argument where I see my sisters only wanted me to be the provider to my mother and stepdad. Hopefully, they can manage living somewhere else, albeit I have my doubts. It's hard on me knowing I have to keep an eye on my mother while also having a family of my own. And then here are some more relevant comments. Damn, your sisters really showed their true colors here. They wanted you to be the ATM while they sit and judge your decisions. The audacity is wild. You did way more than most people would. Exactly. Getting the city involved was smart because now nobody can say you just kicked them out for no reason. And you're still helping financially even after they trashed a 300K plus house. That's incredibly generous considering the circumstances. Don't feel like you failed your dad. He left you that house because he trusted your judgment, not because he wanted you to enable destructive behavior indefinitely. Sometimes being responsible means making the hard calls that nobody else wants to make. And then OOP said the last part of your comment was majority of the argument. So someone did ask them, there's no way to recoup the losses, but could you like try a lawsuit, or would that screw your mom over too much? Like if you did it against your stepdad? And he said they don't make enough to warrant a lawsuit. This will be my last attempt to help them out, and everyone is aware of that. Okay, that makes more sense, because that's what I was thinking. Like, why are we not suing here? Why are we not trying to, like, because that's an asset. That's part of your net worth. And not that your net worth is, like, more important than family. Not at all. But they did ruin it. And, like, you're literally taking a huge hit because of that. And not just, like, the money aspect of it. There's sentimental value there. That's your dad's home. And I guarantee, like, he did not want his ex-wife ruining it. But again, like, he trusted your judgment, and I think that you kicking them out was the right call, like the original person said. Like the previous person stated how he trusted your judgment. 100% agree with that. That adds some context to why you're not suing. And then the final relevant comment talked about how they're concerned about how their stuff is still at the house, and you just set a deadline for your mother and stepfather to get everything they want or need out of the house so that you can sell the land. Otherwise, it's going to end up like a storage facility. And OOP did say they have 14 days starting this coming Monday to remove whatever they need or want, and then the house will not be able to be entered per the city. Yeah. What do you guys think about this one? Because it is really hard. Like, what would you do if you were here? We all have different relationships with our mothers or step parents, whatever it may be, our sisters. And so I think we would all handle this very differently. My mom is my absolute best friend. I like love her to death, and I do have a stepdad, but I definitely wouldn't be helping her. I would like to think that I'm the type of person who would turn the other cheek, but I would probably say, like, what the heck? Like, what is wrong with you? What are we doing here? And I wouldn't take her to court, I don't think, but I would kick her out. And I would remind her why I'm kicking her out. Like, I'm kicking you out because you're not responsible enough. You don't care enough about, like, me to take care of my items, whether it was intentional or not. So, yeah, I want to know your thoughts, though. If you're on a platform where you can comment, definitely do so. This next one was posted 3 days ago on Best of Redditor, but it's from August 26, 2020, and it is titled, Where Do I, 28 male, even begin to inform my 28 female wife that I may have caught my younger brother, 23 male, and her younger married sister, 25 male, having some sexy fun in my parents' house. The title really does say it all, but I'll provide the details. I'm at home now, and my wife is in the other room on her tablet. Earlier this evening, I drove by my folks' place to drop off some floor tiles I got from my father. He and my mother are celebrating their anniversary and are out of state on vacation. There was like a house party going on the same street, and it forced me to have a park a bit further away than usual due to all the cars, and I don't have access to my folks' garage door opener. Okay, T. So I park in front of a different house and walk a little ways. I go into the house through one of the side doors to get at the garage. When I get in the house, I'm immediately struck with the sounds of two adults doing some sexy tangoing time. I'm grossed out and confused at first, thinking it's my parents, but they're both in their 60s. Not that people in their 60s can't still have fun. I hope that all you 60-year-olds watching, because clearly you're a huge part of my channel, are still having so much fun and living your life to the fullest. Before that image can settle, I glass through the door in the house that connects to the garage, and my brother's car is parked there. He doesn't live with my parents. For a second, I'm like, okay, creepy. He took a date back to my folks' place, but reasoned it's because he has a messy apartment. Not wanting to cause a scene or ruin his fun, I duck out thinking I'll come back tomorrow. On my way back to my car, I noticed that the car parked in front of mine actually belongs to my sister-in-law. Ooh. Now I didn't see her in that house, and I have no idea what she sounds like during dance routines of that sort. All I know is that her car was there. My folks moved here later in life, so I'm not super familiar with their neighbors, but there is a chance sister-in-law was at the house party. She's a married woman with 2 kids. I haven't said anything to the wife yet. Part of me is like, keep your mouth shut and pretend you saw nothing, and the other part knows I ought to tell my wife. What the heck do I do? Yeah, I think they're definitely cheating together, just because, like, think about all the times that they have met and, like, the likelihood that they would be in the same neighborhood at the same time and not be together. It's just so I feel like that would be too much of a coincidence if she was there but at a different spot, but they know each other and they like you guys are married, like they've been to like your wedding and stuff. Like they definitely know each other. They definitely have at least like a what's the word I'm looking for? They definitely I mean, I'm assuming that if, like, they were in your wedding party, they definitely have each other's numbers, like, there's no way that they aren't at least casual I don't wanna say friends, but, like, they pass each other in the store and they're like, "Hey, bestie," and then they keep walking, like, "Hey, how you been?" So, if they were in the same neighborhood, that was your sister-in-law's car, not just, like, a popular car, the likelihood of them both being there, them both knowing each other, your boyfriend or your brother being there having sexy time with someone that's not her, but her being at a house party when she has kids and stuff, and them just like not being together, like they're in the same neighborhood at the same time but not together. That just seems like too much of a coincidence. Wow, that took a lot for me to get there. Can you guys tell that I'm a little tired? I was like circling that conclusion, but we finally got there. I finally got it out. Relevant comments. Not your daddy's girl said, "There's nothing wrong with being honest and telling your wife what you saw. You aren't saying that her sister is cheating. You're literally just giving facts. I heard this. I saw my brother's car. I saw your sister's car. There's a party going on in her neighbor's house. Your sister could be with my brother, or she could be at the party." That is true. I feel like if you gave her the clues, your wife would probably be able to solve the case. Just because women all have an additional sixth sense that we refer to as the FBI. We are all secretly FBI agents. It's just like our sixth sense that just comes out and suddenly we have that training. So she could figure it out in 20 minutes if you just told her. OOP did respond and say, "I've decided to do this as someone suggested and drive by my folks tomorrow around the same time and see if that car is there. I'm also going to ask my brother why he's doing those types of things in my folks' house. I'm then going to ask him directly if it was her because her car was there. Based on his answers and how truthful I think he's being, I'll go to my wife about it. No sense in embarrassing my brother too much if he just had a random girl at the house." Would you be embarrassing your brother by telling your wife, though? I don't know. I feel like when you're married or in a relationship, like Josh and I have been dating for 5 years and we quite literally share a brain cell. Like, do we tell each other everything? No, but we also don't really keep secrets. And it's like, I'm gonna tell him if I'd be calling him as soon as I got in the car. Like, dude, what do I do? Like, it wouldn't be embarrassing. It'd just be like, hey, other half of my brain cell, what should I do about this? Like, I don't know. I just feel like that would be how it goes. And then someone else commented and said, "When you're by the house, call your sister-in-law, see what happens. Either that or stay in your car and see who leaves the house." I would call the brother. Why wouldn't you? Like, I'd call my brother and be like, "Yo, what's up, brother?" If he answered. If he didn't answer, then I'd just walk in. I'd walk in and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was looking for something." But I'd have like my phone playing like really loud to kind of give him a little warning so I hopefully don't see anything. But I'd just be like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were here. I was like looking for something. Why are you here? Oh, who's that?" And then you know. Then you know. OOP said, "It's a different day now. If I drive down there and her car is still there, it's obviously cheating." And then Edit says, "I know the truth now, but it won't let me update for 24 more hours. So here's the update 2 days later." Well, I had the day off today and it was still gnawing at me. To catch everybody up, I had gone by my parents' house yesterday to drop off some floor tiles. My brother, who does not live with them, had his car in their garage and there were sounds of two people having fun times. As not to interrupt and cause embarrassment, I left without saying anything. The way you didn't interrupt is just like, you're like, "I'm a gentleman." Love that. It's I don't know, like the suspense. My sister-in-law's car was parked on the street, but there was a house party, so she may have been there. Well, today I went to drop off the tiles and neither car was there. I neglected to mention any of this to my wife and decided to just talk to my brother first to see what was going on. As he wasn't there, I figured I'd go pick up a case of beer and drive over to see him. Make up some story about being in the neighborhood. As I'm on my way to do this, I get a call from my wife who sounds a little distraught. She informs me that she just got off with her sister and that she's apparently getting a divorce. Oh, oh. Sister-in-law and her husband actually haven't been living in the same apartment for like a week now. Hearing this, I expected her to tell me that sister-in-law got caught cheating, but it was actually the opposite. The guy I thought I would be helping, well, it turns out he's been having a 6-month-long affair with their kid's former preschool teacher. Ew. Sister-in-law had been despairing for a week, having to tell anyone about this because she's ashamed of it. So I breathed a sigh of relief knowing that if I had stumbled upon what I stumbled upon, at least there was no real wrongdoing there. I still kept it from my wife and opted to talk to my brother. Yeah, that would maybe be a lot on your wife. Still, I love a good kiki, and I'd be spilling the beans. I'd be like, oh my God, I have to tell you this. Like, I feel like your wife is going to be pissed that you waited so long to tell her. Because what? You don't want to embarrass your brother? No. Tell your wife. Okay? Remember that whole singular brain cell thing? Yeah, you need to tell your wife because it involves her sister and she's going to be pissed. She's going to be pissed you waited this long to tell her. I don't usually show up out of the blue, so he was a little anxious that I was there. I told him about me and what I heard, and he apologized profusely. I then asked him about sister-in-law's car, and he got quiet. Well, it turns out sister-in-law wasn't telling my wife the whole truth. Apparently, sister-in-law has known about her husband's affair for several months now, but didn't confront him up until recently. While worrying about who to talk to about it all, she bumped into my brother at a gas station. Called it. Who called it? I called it. They are the hi, how are ya type situation. I freaking called it. I was thinking a grocery store, but gas station works too. He told me that she basically broke down crying over it, and for the last few months, he's been letting her confide in him, and he's kept quiet about it. They next started meeting up and having coffee together, and as my brother has depression, he was recommending a few good therapists. There was never any major flirting in their meetups. They actually just talked about their kids. My brother has a daughter from a previous relationship, so he talked about her. Sister-in-law's husband, who did not know his infidelity had been discovered, began to grow suspicious of my brother and sent him a message asking about what's going on with his wife. Don't you love how, like, the people who are cheating are always the ones that are, like, projecting, like, cheating is wrong, you should never do that, and then they get really gross about it? But just, like, her knowing, I get that it started innocent, but I hope that, obviously they crossed that line before the divorce was final and, like, everything was on the table between her and the husband, and, yeah, I just don't like whether they are donezo and, like, the paperwork is signed or not. I would never wanna jump into another relationship in the middle of this, like, definitely need to wait until the dust is settled there. I don't think that that's necessarily right, like, it's very much an eye for an eye, like, he cheated on me, so I'm gonna cheat on him, like, we need to take a second and heal. Take a breath, you know? It's okay, and that's just my personal comments, like, I know that the best thing to do to get over someone is to get under someone else, but, like, long term, we wanna be healed. So maybe we shouldn't do that. Why they were suddenly liking each other's posts so much more and texting. When sister-in-law learned of the message, she saw red and finally confronted her husband, and he walked out. This was last week. That takes us to yesterday. They went out for coffee again. She mentioned being worried about how to tell her folks and her husband's folks about his affair, but said she was feeling much better with him not in the house. She kept giving him signs, talking about her dead bedroom, talking about being lonely, talking about all of the frustrations of the sexy type. And my brother took the bait and took her to my folks' place, and the rest is history. When asked why he chose my parents' place, he said it's because they have a better TV, and he had left his guitar there and needed to pick it up anyway. Oh, okay. Two birds, one stone. Told my wife when I got home, and she turned from being sad and nervous for her sister to quite playful about everything. So it's looking like my kids might have double cousins at some point. LOL. Okay. Like, okay. I, again, don't think that it's right to just do that. Like, screw the ex-husband. He sucks. Or the soon-to-be ex-husband. But I also think that maybe we need to take some time, and we're very emotionally sensitive right now, and the best thing to do is not jump into the bed of our brother-in-law or our sister's brother-in-law. This is something I need to know. So if you're married, like, is my sister's brother-in-law also my brother-in-law? Like, my sister's husband's brother is her brother-in-law, but is he also my brother-in-law? Or is he just my sister's brother-in-law? Because if that's the case, wouldn't that also be her sister's brother-in-law? Would she be sleeping with her brother-in-law, even though it's her sister's brother? I need a map. Okay, top comment from, like, Best of Redditor is, so the reason why they had special time at the parents' place is because they have a better TV. What? And then someone said, oh, I assumed it was incidental, like they were hanging out, went back to parents' place to watch a movie, and brother could pick up guitar. Then he realized he was getting laid and didn't want the opportunity to press. Yeah, no. I don't think that's the case. He said she was giving him signs, so he took her back there. So that is a little weird. I think that he just needed a place to crash, and he was like, you know what? I need to go pick up my guitar anyway. Might as well. We're going to do one more. This one is pretty good. It's titled, Yesterday My Brother Told Me He Was in Love with Me. So the original best of Reddit updates was 27 days ago. There is a new update that we'll read after this one. But the original post is February 17th, 2026, and it's titled, "Is My Adopted Brother Flirting with Me?" Hi everyone, I'm so conflicted to know where to even begin with this. I was adopted when I was 3 years old from Russia, and honestly, I love my family so much. I have two older brothers and one sister, all of which my parents had biologically. My siblings and I have always been really close, but now we live on opposite sides of the country due to college. The brother I was talking to in this message is the one I'm arguably the most close with since we are the closest in age, 19 and 20. Over the last year, I've noticed slight behavioral differences between how he used to act and how he acts now. He always treated me like a gross, annoying sister, and now he's a lot more shy around me. I can't tell if it's because we don't live together or what, but it's when I've started to suspect something was different. Over Christmas break, he was always wanting to hold my hand or had his arm around my shoulder, and it made me feel a little suffocated. I thought this was all due to the fact we're thousands of miles apart, but after this text exchange, I am not sure. Is he being flirty or is he just having a hard time expressing himself? I'm so unsure because if I bring up that I'm uncomfortable to him, it would be so awkward. And then I'm going to read the text messages. It's started with the brother sharing a TikTok link of, "Welcome back, friends. You had a long day at school. Halloween is next week." But the brother said us after family service in 2012. And then OOP said, "Crying emoji, stop. That video low-key made me sick." Brother said, "It made me realize how much I miss you. I can't wait to be with you again over the summer." OP said, "Me too," with like the puppy dog eye emoji. By the way, I was thinking about submitting this to the agency, but wanted your opinion first. I think I'll get more professional ones done with them, but this one's temporary. They shared a picture of her hair without heart covering her face. And they said they take it to natural light, but I'm afraid my expression comes across stiff or something. And then brother said, "No, you look absolutely beautiful. Wow, it makes me nervous. LOL." Ooh, OP said, "Thank you, but what do you mean nervous?" Brother said, "Sorry, I meant like it's weird that you used to be my little sister. Now you're a beautiful woman. Makes me nostalgic." Okay, we're towing the line. We are definitely towing the line here. Relevant top comments. Top commenter said, "Unfortunately, you're going to have to be very direct with him. It'll be easier in text. You said you're seeing me in a different light. Does this mean you're attracted to me? Don't add anything to it. If you tell him that's not okay before he admits it, you'll be telling him what to say. If he does admit attraction, shut it down. I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. You will always be my brother to me, and because of that, I'm going to step back on communicating. You need to move on from this crush, and I need time to recover from this as well." This is also where you would list other boundaries, like hugging, talking at family events, not coming over, no reaching out, etc. "I'm so sorry you're going through this. I love my brother so much, I can't imagine." And then someone responded to that and said, "Especially the 'you used to be my little sister' part. He's made it blatantly clear that he no longer sees her as his sister, but it's just barely ambiguous enough for him to try and lamely backtrack in case he doesn't get what he wants. I bet he would try for some weak excuse like, 'I just meant that you're not little anymore.'" And then OOP responded and said, "Yeah, I mainly thought that he meant I was no longer little anymore, but I was unsure. Thanks for this clarity." Okay, that's what I thought too. I'm not the best with like context. I'm very much like takes everything for face value. So that's interesting. And that makes my stomach drop. So same day, hours later, here's an update. "Anyways, I have an important presentation later today, so here's a brief update. I got a lot of conflicting answers on if it was flirting or not, but I think the general consensus was yes. Regardless, I think these texts pretty much confirm something very weird is going on. I think I'm going to call my mom this evening and talk to her about it. I'm not so sure what she will say. I'm very afraid this will make the family situation very different. As for people saying he could just be socially awkward, I don't think that's a good explanation, as he's always been very popular and outgoing, has had no issues getting girls to talk to him, and his texts have just been different lately. He had a long-term girlfriend, they broke up last summer, so the only thing I can think is that he's still upset about that and pushing those feelings onto me. And finally, people who are making this into like a sexy time thing and who are condoning this behavior, please don't. This disgusts me so much I vomited up my breakfast this morning. I'm so devastated that our relationship is taking a turn for this. He is my brother and will forever only be my brother. I do not care if we are not double related. We are siblings. If anyone has any advice on what to say to him to maintain our relationship while being firm he is creepy, please let me know. Thank you. I'm really glad that you said that because that is my thoughts. Like, it's gross. I get that you're not blood related, but like in my head, I feel like normal, like people who aren't attracted to their siblings, you compartmentalize family as family. And there is no like romantic attraction there. Like, you just shut that down. Like, it's not even a thought in your mind because they're in that box of family. No. Like, and then also if you have friends that have like husbands and stuff, they also go in that little box where it's like no romance, no attraction, no anything, like just platonic. And for him to like take you out of that little box and be like, she's of age now. We're not blood related. That's weird. Okay? Icky. Gross. Disgusting. I don't like it. But it does happen. Like, I know that there are people who like end up getting married where like they were like one was adopted. Gross. Icky. Not my thing. But whatever. We're gonna read this transcript of the text messages because there are more. So the brother said the thing about like, just makes me nostalgic. Weird that you used to be my little sister. Now you're a beautiful woman. OP said, don't worry. I'm still your little sister. Always will be, with a smiley face. Brother said, good morning. Hope your day goes well. Let me know how your bio presentation goes. You got this. Yeah, but my little sister isn't so little anymore. And then OOP said, you're still 5 inches taller than me. Don't worry, you'll always be bigger. Also, will let you know, blank and I worked all weekend on it, and I still don't feel confident. I also wanted to bring up something important with you. Lately, you've been acting a little different, more shy to me, but at Christmas, you were more physical. Is there anything I did on why you're acting differently? I just hope everything is okay between us. Oh gosh. Brother said, I've actually been meaning to talk to you about that. Oh no, I'm nervous for this, and it's already happened. This is going to sound really weird, and you can tell me if it makes you uncomfortable, but I've just been seeing you in a different light lately. I don't know how to describe it, and I, of course, still love you, and you're my family. It's just different now that we're far away. Okay, I don't like how vague he's being. Say it with your chest. Like, if you're doing... This is my pet peeve in general. If you are doing something wrong, say it with your chest. Do it with your chest. Don't do something wrong and then be like, I don't know. Am I doing something wrong? I don't know. Tell me. Are you doing something wrong? You're being weird. Brother said, I don't know. I just mean you're the one person I'm excited to talk to every day. If we don't text, I really miss you. I hope this doesn't get misconstrued. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? No, because you're not being straight up. OP said, kind of, but also not really. I also miss you since you're my brother. I miss everyone. It's hard being away from home. And brother said, for frick's sake, this is coming out wrong. Can I call you around 9 tonight to clear it up? I fear in text it will sound bad. And then OP said, brother's name, please, you're making me worried and a little uncomfortable. Can you please just tell me now? Brother said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I really can't tell you now. Please just wait until tonight. Ooh, I hate that, how he doesn't want it to be, like, in text. Commenter 1 says he's still trying to avoid being screenshotted and held accountable for what he wants to say, and that's why he wants to call instead of text. When you call, please make sure you're using a separate device to record the entire thing. It's very, very important for your own well-being. In case anyone else in the family has any doubts, please make sure you record it for your own sake. 100% he would probably gaslight and say it never happened. OOP said, we already called. Unfortunately, people on this post noted some states made it illegal to record, and I live in one of those. I'd still record it, just in case. For your own, like, keepsake. I'm sorry. I know it's illegal, but, like, I would record it and then not share it with anyone unless it absolutely came down to it. Because I don't think, if it's, like, I feel like it's a safety issue. And I think for your own safety, if you're recorded, I don't know if anyone's going to be like, screw you. But maybe I shouldn't be giving legal advice because I'm not a lawyer. But that's just me. Final update. I believe this will be the final update on what's been going on between my brother and I. This is the next day, by the way. Unfortunately, despite me wanting to, I didn't record due to people commenting that it is illegal in some states, which I'm unfortunately in. Then I was informed after we talked that it doesn't matter unless you're using it in legal settings. That's what I'm thinking. Like, if you're using it for yourself and for your own peace of mind and for your own way of moving forward from this ickiness, you know, I will record it just in case, because how do they know you have it if you don't use it? They don't. Continuing. If anything, I think these texts prove his intentions. I will try to keep this as succinctly as possible since it was quite a long call. Long story short, he said he was in love with me. He got really nervous at the start, took 20 minutes of being around the bush, and then he told me. He said he was so sorry, he tried to keep it hidden and didn't want to lose our relationship, but he never felt like this about anyone. He seemed very sincere and vulnerable. I asked him for a couple of minutes of silence to try and think of the best things to say. I ended up saying something like, I'm glad you trusted me enough to confide this in me, but this has made me deeply uncomfortable. The only future with us in it is one as your sister. I love you as a brother, but if you can't handle that or respect me, then I will need to stop communicating with you. He started crying about how sorry he was for bringing this up. He would do better just to please not shut him out. I've literally never seen him cry, besides when we were really young, so hearing it made me unsettled on what to do. I could tell how much he was struggling to come to terms with his emotions, but continuing to talk to him and hear him beg made me even more disgusted. I told him I needed to go and to please give me space. He has since flooded my phone with texts. I'm considering blocking him for the time being, and very conflicted, lost on how to bring this up with my family. Unfortunately, I don't even have the mental capacity to deal with this right now, as I have 2 exams next week and a 20-page paper due. He's very much struggling mentally, which I never knew until he said it last night and today. I'm going to message my parents to potentially do a mental health check. I'm also going to bring his behavior up to them this weekend. The only good thing is that he's on the other side of the country, so I can just focus on school right now. If worse comes to worse, I'll cut him out of my life, but cutting the rest of my family off was non-negotiable. So this is hard, and I'm really proud of you for shutting it down, because I do feel like he's being a bit manipulative. Like, I felt bad until you said you asked for space and he's like blowing up your phone. That's just textbook manipulation and trying to, just not respecting you and your boundaries. And that hurts my heart, because I've been through something similar, not with my brother, but with like an ex. And please don't underestimate that he's only on the other, like, he's on the other side of the country, because that does not matter to someone who is going through a mental health crisis. They'll drive all night. They'll hop on an airplane. Please, please, please bring your family into it, your parents, and just let them know so that they can do a mental health check, because that is the best way to go about it. Here are some screenshots of those final text messages. Brother said, "Look, I'm really sorry. I think I've been going through it lately. I think my feelings got mixed up. I don't know. Please, I need to keep you in my life. I just really care about you, and have pushing you away when you're already so far away would kill me. I know it's effed up what I said, and I'm so sorry, but I put you in that situation. That wasn't right. Can we please just forget it happened, go back to things? I don't care if you tell mom, dad, blank or blank, your siblings. I just know I need you. I will go to therapy like you suggested. I want to get better for you. I'm in class. Stop calling me," is how the OOP responded. And he said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Please just let me process alone." He said, "Frick, I'm sorry. It's so hard, though. I can't even imagine what you're thinking." See, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's setting a boundary, and he's like, "I just can't imagine what you're thinking." Like, it's almost like he's playing the victim. Like, "It's so hard, but I can't even imagine what you're thinking." And then in parentheses, like, "about what I did, the pain that I caused." Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm getting more flashbacks. Brother said, "I wish I never said anything. I've ruined everything, haven't I?" There it is, like that victim mentality. OP said, "I'll be frank, I'm really annoyed you can't leave me alone and let me think things through instead of spam calling and texting me. This is the last time I'm going to ask you before I'm going to block you. I'm very busy right now, and this is the last thing I need." And he said, "Okay, I respect that." We're just going to read the top relevant comment, because there is another update, but it says, "You need to let your parents know about the situation. If they don't side with you on this, then you should completely go no contact with them." And OOP said, "I honestly have no idea how this will play out with my family. Like, I seriously can see it going either way. They pay for my tuition, dorm, monthly expenses, so going no contact with them is literally not an option until I graduate." I mean, if they didn't side with you, I just couldn't see that, because you haven't done anything wrong. She did say she was adopted when she was 3 and he was 4, but let's go ahead and jump into the new update. Oh shoot, there's like a ton more updates. Maybe this is going to be a really long episode. So there are like a bunch of additional posts that are from other subreddits that like are just the same situation. She's just posting in more Reddits. So I'm not going to read all of those, but they are linked if you do want to go to the one that I'm going to link and find them. There are more updates as well. So there's a small update the next day from the original title post that says, "I had a counselor meeting this morning and she told me I needed to call my parents. I think I'm going to after dinner tonight, despite receiving mixed messages on if I should or not. I'm not sure how much I will want to share after this call, but depending on how it goes, I may update again later tonight. I've muted my brother for the time being. He only texted me once today and I did not respond. I'm not sure how many people actually care, but should I post it on my profile, or will a notice of Reddit be more appropriate? Thank you." So same day, later that night, there's another update that says, "I called my parents. I just got off the phone with my parents 30 minutes ago. My counselor told me to write down expressly all the things that I wanted to say, including my needs and my brother's needs. I was able to share my screen with FaceTime so I could pull up our recent texts and his concerning number of phone calls. He called me 30 times in 24 hours. I started off saying I was concerned about his mental health, how he was behaving unusually erratic and desperate. He's usually very chill, level-headed, so the switching him was the most concerning thing to me. I told them when I started to notice he was acting differently to me, like over Christmas, being really touchy and making me do things I wouldn't normally do. An example is asking me to lay my head in his lap while we watched a movie and him telling me to get back down when I came back from the bathroom. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. How if I was on the couch, he would put his arm around me or hold my hand, making me feel smothered and uncomfortable. Yeah, that's when I would have said something, because that's weird. My brother and I would never. I then started to show them screenshot from a couple months prior where I combed through our messages and realized some things went straight over my head. Some things when I thought he was being overly nice, it was flirty, and I didn't. So my camera died, but I really want to finish this story, so I did switch over to my phone, so that is why the angle and everything changed. But let's finish this story. Then showed them the text that caused me to come to Reddit, where he called me beautiful and that I was nervous. All this time, both my parents took this very seriously, were nodding and telling me to continue. Anyways, I showed them the text exchange after my brother and I called, and my mom looked like she was sick. My dad has always been quite solemn. I don't know if that's the right word, but he looked seriously disturbed and almost angry. Hopefully on your behalf, because it is disturbing and anger-inducing. My mom started immediately apologizing, asking if I was okay, if I needed anything. I told her I wanted my brother to get better, but right now I needed him to not contact me. I told her and my dad they needed to call him right after and check on him. I said I told them not to get him in trouble, but for his safety, which is true. My dad comes from a more conservative culture than my mom, and I like to wear a lot of Brandy Melville. Most of their stuff is just crop tanks, like nothing crazy. So he asked me angrily why I couldn't dress more appropriately around the house and maybe things would have been different. Oh no, throw him away. Throw him away. Him and the brother can go kindly skip off a cliff. But I don't think they would skip because they're too manly for that. He's never liked the way I dressed, even though I dress like every other girl my age. So hearing him say that wasn't surprising, to be honest. Yeah, like that's not. It's not like an abnormal way to dress at all. It made me cry, not gonna lie, and I said I was sorry, even though I don't think it was my fault. No, like, that's literally the equivalent of been like, you shouldn't have been wearing what you were wearing. No matter what you were wearing, this would have still happened because he's clearly got some stuff going on, and yeah, the icky, no, he can't blame that. Just, ugh, that makes me sick, and I'm so sorry that's your experience. I don't know, it was a very stressful call, and you could tell my dad had a lot of misplaced anger. That's a good way to put it, and I'm glad you're able to recognize that. And my mom just had no idea what to do. They said they will call me again tomorrow after they talk to my brother discussing next steps. Also, one final thing, I guess some people think this is some weird fetish thing. The fact someone would have had to fabricate those texts and would take their time to write all this just for the sake of being weird wouldn't surprise me considering the disgusting things some people have commented on my posts. This will probably be my final update as I'm only posting to get help and advice and not condone this disgusting behavior. I know I can't really prove that I'm real, but at the end of the day, all I'm here for is guidance. I have also received many comments from other women who've had similar situations happen to them within their families. It feels good to be taken seriously, and this situation is unfortunately more common than I originally thought. My heart goes out to everyone who has been through this before. It's seriously the most stressed I've ever been. Thank you for the support, everyone. And there are a couple more updates. Sorry if this is long. Do you guys like the ones that are this long? You guys say you do, but holy crap, this one's quite long. My brother sends a TikTok link to the mermaid tells the kids used to look so fake, but I thought it was so real. Okay. And says, I remember you used to do this all the time, thinking it worked. Just out of nowhere. So last night I called my parents and for a condensed version, more detailed on my profile of what happened. My parents were very shocked, unsure what to do. My mom apologized, made sure I was okay. My dad kind of blamed it on me. And I don't know, it was confusing. My parents called my brother. I'm not exactly sure what happened or what was said, but they called me today saying he sounded perfectly normal, calm, and not a threat to me or himself. They wanted to hear his side of the story, and he denied the physical stuff over break, essentially said he didn't recall any of that. And when he sent those texts, he was really drunk. Okay, wasn't it like over a couple days? I told them it was a terrible excuse because even if I were drunk, I never would have sent those texts or made that call. Drunken words, sober thoughts. Just saying. I also pointed out if he was drunk in all those texts, he must have been drinking day and night, which obviously means something is emotionally wrong with him. My dad, I think, really wants to deny it. He kept saying it's a momentary lapse in my brother's judgment, and I think my mom doesn't know what to think. I honestly don't fault them for being shocked or confused because he's always been such a golden child. Now I'm at a loss because I don't know if he's struggling mentally and doesn't want to admit it, or if he's using it as an excuse to confess everything to me and not face the consequences. Consequences. Oh my god, I can't talk. You guys know the word I'm trying to say. I really want him to receive the help he needs if he is struggling, but I also don't want to engage with him. He sent me a TikTok about an hour ago like nothing happened, and I'm like, WTF. He seriously can't accept my boundaries despite me asking repeatedly. That's what I'm really worried about, that he's just going to show up because he's already proven he doesn't respect your boundaries, and that is really worrying. And these situations, when left to their own devices don't ever go away. They literally always like turn into something worse. I'm going to tell my parents once more that he needs to stop messaging me before I block him. I've been talking with some of my friends, and one offered to split rent with me over the summer. I'm not sure if my parents will want to pay, but I'll find a job regardless. As of now, I don't feel safe returning home. I don't know if it's me being paranoid, but I'm afraid if he doesn't receive help, he could hurt me. I'm trying to be empathetic to him, but there's probably issues he is facing I'm unaware of, but I feel like it shouldn't be my responsibility to fix them. It's not, and I'm so sorry that, like, you are being gifted with that burden because no one else wants to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But honestly, you could always just call the police and do a wellness check. Like, I'm not saying that lightly. You shouldn't do wellness checks unless you think that someone is really actually having like a mental health crisis, but I genuinely think he is, and it wouldn't hurt to call and have them do a wellness check. What I really hope is my parents go down for the weekend and actually physically check up on him, but who knows if they will. I pray that they take this seriously and my dad comes to his senses. I know if I told my sister, she would be in support of me, so I'm thinking of just telling her behind my parents' back. Thanks. So here's another update from 3 days later. It says, "Hi guys, this will probably be my final update for a while since I hope this gets resolved. Anyways, I decided to block my brother Friday night. I sent him this text. It seems like you can't respect my boundaries. For your healing and mine, I've decided to block you for the time being. I don't want this to be permanent, but I need to focus on school, and you're making it extremely difficult at the present. I wish you the best and hope you get help." He never got a chance to respond on iMessage. Saturday night, I was with my friends, and I kept getting calls on Instagram. Oh no. I didn't even realize until I got back to my dorm since my phone was on Do Not Disturb. It's my brother, and it slipped my mind that I needed to block him on other platforms as well. I don't think it slipped your mind. I think that you just assumed that he was going to respect your boundaries, which is honestly what I feel like anyone who has any sort of like empathy or wants to see the good in people is going to assume. So I get that, and I'm really sorry that he's not getting the hint. I opened his profile to block when he called me again. I accidentally answered, but then thought maybe this was time to say what I needed to say, so he really needed to leave me alone. Because apparently my other warnings were not enough. The moment I answered, he let out a flood of, "Oh my God, I'm so happy you answered. I needed to know you were okay." I told him I'm going to block him on here too. I needed him to go get help, of which, according to mom and dad, he was currently saying he didn't need. He told me he didn't want to lose, he didn't want me to feel uncomfortable, and that he couldn't concentrate if he knew I was mad. This is so textbook, like, you need to get other people involved, like a restraining order. I start with a mental health check, and if that doesn't like work, I'm so sorry to say it, but you do need to get like an EPO, because this is concerning. Like, if anyone is ever going through this, I'm so sorry. Please know that like getting them help is the best you can do for them. And just letting them get away with it is enabling them and allowing them to go down this path. I told him I wasn't mad, just wanted him to get better. He asked me if he could fly out for his spring break, which is in 3 weeks. He also had a Hawaii trip planned with his friends, which is weird he would drop so suddenly. I told him no, I needed months of space. He should go with his friends and get his mind on other things. He then said if he came to the city I live in, he wouldn't bother me. He just wants to be closer to me and do his own thing. Absolutely not. I told him no firmly again, that I had to leave and to please leave me alone and not bother me until I make contact again. I then hung up before he could say anything else and blocked him on all social media. He's clearly unwell, but I'm also getting scared how he keeps pushing me when it is obvious I don't do anything with him right now. I'm going to sort this all out and tell my counselor this afternoon, but that is it. I might stop updating period because I feel like what needs to be said has already been said. Thank you so much for all your help so far and have a nice day. Also, one more thing, I did tell my sister she believed me after I showed her receipts and told me she supports me in whatever I feel like I need to do to keep myself safe. I asked her if our brother had ever been weird with her. She said no and said he probably always thought I was like an annoying addition to our family, not really a sister. Whatever that means. Yeah, that is a little weird. But at least she supported me. She has a baby and a full-time job, so she lives out of state from my family and I. Not sure how much help she can be. I appreciate the mental support, though. And then this is the new updates. I think there's a couple more. This one is from 1.5 weeks later, so March 6, 2026, and says, "Would I be the a-hole if I refuse to meet my mom and my brother after they flew across the country to see me?" Oh, your mom came with him? No. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. This is insane. Long story short, I was adopted at 3. My brother, who's 20, I'm 19, was 4. and who came from my parents, and I have two other siblings that are also my parents' biological children. We grew up to be very close, and I always was so grateful. I'm gonna skip all of that because obviously we have been over the updates. Last week, my brother told me he wanted to come to my house during spring break, despite having already booked a week-long vacation with his friends in Hawaii. I knew he was looking forward to it since he's been talking about this trip for months. Obviously, that freaked me out since he wasn't respecting my boundaries, and I was genuinely concerned if I needed to tell the police. I called my parents, and they said that they would handle it, but they're not. Imagine my surprise. Their way of handling it was my mom flying out the same time as my brother. She said she would keep him in check, that it would be healing to have an intermediary resolve our issues. No. He's a 6'3" man who your daughter is telling you is having a mental health crisis. I know that people are amazing people, and I know that mental health can make us do crazy things that we don't necessarily mean, and having two women, one of them who literally said, "Hey, I'm 5 inches shorter than you," um, is, like, obviously smaller, like, having them have to potentially be around a guy who is unstable and therefore unsafe is not great. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that he's a bad person, but when you are in psychosis, you can do things that are not great. Not that he's in it, but if that is the case because of his mental health declining very obviously, and things going south and him making decisions and showing signs of very disturbing behavior, why would you send two women to solve the day and come out and not respect your boundaries? Like, you have set clear boundaries. You've done everything you possibly can. Y'all, my phone just ran out of storage, so now I'm on Josh's phone, but I will finish filming, okay? I'm dying. We will film and get this up. Okay. Anyway, I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of the video situation, but I do want to say, like, to OP, like, I'm so sorry that you have tried to handle this the best you can. You're so young and you shouldn't have to go through this and make these decisions about the people that you are supposed to feel safest around. But I am so proud of you for holding strong and not being, like, pressured by your family to just be like, yeah, it's fine, and holding your ground, setting those boundaries, because that is not easy. But we are going to finish this. It's so strange because all the comments I've been receiving have reiterated the same thing, that my brother is dangerous right now. He shouldn't be anywhere near me, and I should even consider no contact. Yeah, after my parents fully absorb this, they're calm and don't even seem to notice how he might be dangerous. It's like they can't fathom their perfect son might not be so perfect, and they want to maintain an illusion. I feel like my mom is trying to be the white knight in shining armor and thinks their trip will fix this entire situation and we can just move past it. I just want to sweep it under the rug and pretend it's not happening, honestly. Every time I voice my worries, they're treating me like I'm over dramatizing the situation. Would she actually even keep me safe is the question, and my instincts are telling me no. Her words have been eating at me, though. I feel as though I'm crazy for feeling the things I am feeling. I feel as though if I can't even trust myself anymore. I also want to believe that my brother would never hurt me. But tell me a year ago that he confessed he was in love with me, I would have never believed it either. It's so terribly difficult for me to determine. If I say no to meeting up with them, I'm so afraid they're going to cut me off financially. They pay for all my expenses, essentially. I would be more than happy to find a job while in college and take out loans if need be, as I truly just want to be safe. I guess what hurts more would be potentially excommunicated with my entire family. My parents have both handled this terribly, but I still deeply love them and don't want them to lose them forever. I just don't know if it's a risk I want to take. Would I be the a-hole if I said no despite my mom's assurances that I'll be safe? No, I think that you're an adult, and it's important that you stand your ground and say, like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I cannot do this, and set that boundary. And if they cut you off, it's horrible, it's awful, but you have so many resources there to help you, especially with you being in college. There are financial resources built into most universities that will help you, and you can reach out to other nonprofits around you. I'm sure that your friends will be happy to help you and support you, not just like emotionally, but in any way you need. I'm glad you have a good system in college. It sounds like you have a good support system there, but don't let the fear of that unknown stop you from doing the right thing for you, because I think that this is just not a good thing. It's a dangerous situation, and your parents don't want to accept it. Remember, it's their first time on earth too, and they're not making a great decision because it's hard. This is someone that is literally like their son, while also their daughter is saying their son is doing these things, and they are not handling it great, but they've never been in this situation before, and I think that they're just trying to keep it from escalating, and unfortunately, their way of doing it is just not great. So, yeah, let's go ahead and read the next update. So there's an update for 5 days later, March 11th, 2026, and it says, "Hi guys, sorry I've been busy with school these past few days. I guess this will be my last update until my brother and mother come, unless something important happens. I reported my mother and brother to the campus security department, of which they were flagged. Good. I shared them as much evidence as I could, mainly my phone logs and hundreds of messages from my brother. It's kind of a difficult situation since my brother and mother didn't directly threaten me, but they did say during the week they would assign someone to walk me to and from classes and other campus buildings. However, I contacted my counselor and we discussed the best plan of action for what I felt was most appropriate. I listened to everyone's suggestions and decided it would be best to go out of town during that week. I've already contacted my professors and they've agreed to give me extenuating circumstances, and I have friends in all my classes who can take notes for me. Okay, I'm really glad. I didn't even think of that, but that is such a good idea. My best friend is a godsend because she also agreed to take this week off, and we're driving to her family's house a few hours away. I'm literally so grateful I could cry. It feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. She has 2 brothers who live at home still, so I also feel safe knowing that if God forbid my brother and mother found me, I have muted all communications from my family besides my sister and older brother. Funny enough, my brother texted me yesterday. I check his texts every day in case they actually get threatening. And he sent, "Answer your effing phone, at least for mom, she's getting worried." I also turned off location sharing services. Yeah, I would have too. I'm so actually fatigued. I feel like I'm relaying stuff that doesn't matter that much, but this is just for the curious souls and a way for me to vent. They didn't leave any comments or anything on that update, but they did post on a different subreddit and say, "Is there a way to turn a location off iPhone without notifying the other party?" And they just want to know, like, how did they do that? Basically what the title says. How do they turn off their location and it not telling the other person? Which I don't know, but that is kind of relevant because clearly they were looking into it. So another short post that says, "LOL, sorry for using a meme. I'm just using it to cope really. My parents canceled my credit card, my phone service, and essentially everything else they provided for me. It's a good day because now I have no obligations to them anymore. Maybe I'll write later, but everything that happened because it's a lot, but I'm free, everyone. Thank you for all your advice. It means a lot." I'm so sorry. And that one is titled, "I'm officially cut off." And then the meme says, "But I'm free." I'm so sorry that you were cut off. I know that emotionally that's so much harder than financially. Like, yes, the finances are hard, but I've been cut off and then like told it's fine and then cut off again. Like, the family drama lore goes deep and it is not easy um to get through, but I'm glad that you are using comedy to cope. And once you get on your feet, you're going to be so happy that you don't feel obligated to have relationships or treat people a certain way, or the exhaustion that comes with people holding things over your head. Like, you won't have to deal with that anymore because you're going to be fully independent. And it's going to take a while to get there. It might be hard, but I am proud of you and you have a good head on your shoulders. I am fully sure that you are capable of doing this. And I wish that I could help you more than I could by just, like, doing more than offering advice. So, yeah, I'm really proud of you, and I wish you the best, and I hope that your brother stays the heck away. The top comment on the Best of Redditor is the dad's comments about how the OOP dresses "What the F, dude" was ready to blame the daughter he adopted rather than admit his son is a little deviant in the making. And then the top comment in response to that is, "You can tell the son got his creep factor," which is exactly what I was thinking, because like, ew. Like, the fact that he said, "Oh, you dressed inappropriate," means, were you looking too, sir? Because that's supposed to be your daughter. Adopted or not. Ick. But that is it for this episode. Like I said, I have no idea how long it is. We're going to have some clips from my camera, some clips from my phone, some clips for Josh's phone, who is arguably better than mine. So you're going to see all different angles. You're going to see all different quality, but we're going to get there. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts on all of these. That was a roller coaster. If you ever feel like you're in a spot where things are dangerous or someone's mental health is not great, definitely do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. And people are going to try and gaslight you and tell you to turn the other cheek. And be the bigger person. But sometimes when your safety's involved, you have to go with your gut instinct. And yeah, I'm always here if anyone needs to talk, literally ever. DM me on Instagram. That's the easiest way to get hold of me, I think. But yeah, I'm literally always here for you, especially when it comes to like mental health, because your girl has been there. She's been down. Um, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on all of these stories, every single one. I want to know the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, leave a rating and review. All the good stuff. I upload every single Sunday and hopefully every Wednesday, as many Wednesdays as I can. And yeah, I do stories, mainly Reddit stories. So if that's your thing, welcome. It's also my thing. I'd love for you to join the community. That's pretty much it. I think I've said that like 4 times, and I'm very exhausted. I need to take my contacts out. And yeah, love you guys. See you later. Bye.